Hey guys, it's Mrs. Salcetta. I want to show you how to complete some practice problems for speed. The first thing you want to do is have the speed formula written down somewhere. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to write the speed formula. Speed equals distance divided, that line means divided, by time. And if you don't know that that line means time, try to remember that means time. And until you remember that, you could also write the word divide next to it in case you're confused. So speed equals distance divided by time. Now, when you have a problem, it will give you the distance and the time. So you need to know the units for distance and time so you know what you're looking for. So it says if you walk for 1.5 hours. So hours is a unit of time. So we could highlight this. This is time. So I'm going to highlight my times yellow. So we know our time is 1.5 hours. If you walk for 1.5 hours and travel 7.5 kilometers, what is your average speed? So 7.5 kilometers, that is your distance. So you can highlight the distance. So here we have our time, which is hours, and our kilometers, which is the distance. So when we're writing this out, I'm going to write the formula. Speed, S equals distance divided by time. Speed equals distance divided by time. Now we have our distance, so speed equals distance divided by time. We have our distance, it's 7.5 kilometers. So speed is distance divided by time. So now we do our division sign and let's insert our time into the formula, which is 1.5 hours. So our distance was 7.5 kilometers, our time was 1.5 hours. And so now you can calculate your speed. So the speed equals 7.5 divided by 1.5. And I'm not going to ask you to work out the math on a piece of paper, and I'm not going to ask you to do mental math. I'm going to ask you to use a calculator. So if you don't have a calculator, you can always go to Google and click on calculator or type in calculator. And then you're going to get your distance, 7.5, and you're going to divide it by the time, 1.5. So 7.5 divided by 1.5. And that'll give you 5. But it's not just 5. Because in science, if you give me a number without a unit, that number becomes meaningless to me. Is that $5? Is it 5 newtons? No. That is 5 kilometers per hour. So you need to make sure you give me the units. And so I'm going to underline the answer. That's my answer. So the speed equals 5 kilometers per hour. Now let's try another problem. The next problem says, an athlete swims for a distance from one end of the pool that's 50 meters in a time of 25 seconds. What is the athlete's speed? So for the speed formula, we have it up top. Speed is distance divided by time. So speed equals d divided by t, distance divided by time. Speed equals distance divided by time. So what is our distance? Let's highlight our distance. M stands for meters, and meters is a distance. So we can highlight our distance. Then you find the time. The time was 25 seconds. So you can highlight that yellow. So an athlete swims a distance of 50 meters in 25 seconds. So now let's insert our distance and time into the formula. Speed equals distance divided by time. Our distance is 50 meters. Our time is 25 seconds. So now we have our formula filled out. Our speed is going to be 50 meters divided by 25 seconds. So what is our speed? So you're going to have to go now to the calculator and take your distance, 50 meters, and divide it by your time, 25 seconds. So it was 50 meters divided by 25. So you make sure you clear your calculator. 50 divided by 25 equals 2. We're not just going to put 2. We need to put the units. 2 meters per second. That's our answer, and then you can underline it. Now we'll try a couple more problems. So it says, if a car travels 400 meters in 20 seconds, how fast is it going? So we need to know the formula. So speed equals distance divided by time. So we need to find our distance. We need to find our time. The car travels 400 meters. Meters is a unit for distance. Our time, 20 seconds. The car traveled 400 meters in 20 seconds. So we can highlight our time. So we know that speed equals distance divided by time. We have our distance. It's 400 meters. We need to divide that by the time, which is 20 seconds. So now when you do the math, what does it equal? Speed is distance divided by time. So we're going to take the 400 divided by the 20 and go back to our calculator. Make sure you clear your calculator. 400 divided by 20 equals 20. So we're going to write 20, but not just 20. We need to have our units. So our units, you take the distance, you take the time, and you're going to have to bring those down. So 20 meters, and then do a slash, seconds, meters per second. So every second, the car traveled 20 meters per second. So let's try another one. It says, if you move 50 meters in 10 seconds, what is your speed? So to calculate speed, we need to use a formula. The formula for speed, S equals D divided by T. Speed equals distance divided by time. And so you need to find the distance and the time in this problem. So it says if you move 50 meters in 10 seconds. Meters is a unit for distance. So you're going to highlight your meters, that's your distance. Find your time, those are 10 seconds. Highlight your time. Speed is distance divided by time. So you're going to take your distance, which is 50 meters that we highlighted, then add your time for the T, which is 10 seconds. So our speed would equal 50 meters divided by 10 seconds. So you're going to go back to your calculator, make sure it's clear. 50 divided by 10 gives us 5. 50 meters divided by 10 seconds gives us 5, but not just 5, we need to carry our units down. We have our meters, we have our seconds, so you need to carry that down. 5 meters per second. That's your answer. I'm going to underline my answers. Okay, let's try a couple more. So before you do your problems, you want to make sure you remember the speed formula. Speed equals distance divided by time. So number 3 says, you arrive in my class 45 seconds after leaving math, which is 90 meters away. How fast did you travel? So let's remember what the formula is. S equals D divided by T. So speed equals distance divided by time. And then we're going to insert our numbers into the formula. So we need to find our D, our distance. It says you arrive in my class 45 seconds after leaving math, which is 90 meters away. So meters is our distance. So we can highlight our distance. And then let's find our time. It says you arrived in my class 45 seconds after leaving math. So it took you 45 seconds to walk 90 meters. So we're going to highlight our seconds. So our speed equals distance divided by time. So take your distance, which was 90 meters. We're going to divide that by the time, which was 45 seconds, S. So our speed would equal 90 meters divided by 45 seconds. So you can go back to your calculator. 90 divided by 45 gives us 2. 90 meters divided by 45 seconds gives us 2. But not just 2, you need to carry down your units. Our units were meters per second, right? So 2 meters per second. That would be your answer. I'm going to underline that. Okay, next question, last question. A plane travels 395,000 meters in 9,000 seconds. What was its speed? So you need to remember your formula. Speed equals distance divided by time. So you need to find your distance. The plane traveled 395,000 meters. That's our distance. The meters are our distance. And it did it in 9,000 seconds. That's our time. So speed equals distance divided by time. Our distance, 395,000 for meters. Now insert the time into the formula. 9,000 S for seconds. So what would our speed equal? You need to go to the calculator, make sure it's cleared. 395,000 divided by 9,000 gives us 43.8. So our speed would equal 43.8, but not just 43.8, you need to carry down your units. So 43.8 meters per second. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions or concerns about calculating speed. We'll be doing a lot of these problems together over the next couple weeks. And I will definitely be offering tutoring so I can help you with any of the assignments.